Welcome to the Explainer. Every nation has a birth story, right? But I gotta say, few are as epic or as straight up brutal as the one we're diving into today, the forging of China. So let's just jump right in. Picture this. For more than 250 years, the land we now call China was, well, it was just a mess, a fractured landscape of constant total war. So the big question is, how did one single state manage to claw its way out of that chaos, conquer all its rivals, and build an empire? That's the story we're going to unpack. Okay, so before we can even talk about unification, you really have to get your head around the sheer chaos that came before. We are talking about a world of endless war, a time where entire generations of people knew nothing but conflict. Just imagine that. So, in theory, people remembered a time when things were unified under an old dynasty, the Zhou. That was the ideal. But let's be real, their power had crumbled ages ago. The reality was a total, brutal free-for-all. You had 7 major states locked in this constant bloody war. And they weren't just fighting for power, they were fighting for their very survival. And look, this wasn't some short-lived conflict. We're talking about 250 years of almost non-stop war. It was a complete battle royale. Alliances, they were made and broken in the blink of an eye. Entire generations were born, lived, and died knowing nothing but violence. It's no wonder they called it the Warring States period. But out of this absolute cauldron of war, one state started to pull ahead of the pack, systematically. That was the state of Qin. And here's the thing. They didn't just fight harder. No, they completely reinvented what it even meant to be a state. So what was their secret weapon? It was this radical, and I mean radical, philosophy called legalism. Basically, it tossed tradition and morality right out the window. The only thing that mattered was absolute state control. Under legalism, you as a person had one of 2 jobs: grow food for the army or fight in the army. That's it. It was brutal, totally unforgiving, but man, was it effective at building power. And this wasn't just a happy accident. It was a formula, a recipe for power. Step 1, you use ruthless legalism to get your entire population in line. Step 2, you use that organization to supercharge your farms and produce a ton of food. And step 3, all that food fuels a brand new kind of army, a huge, disciplined force where you got promoted based on how many enemies you killed, not because your dad was some fancy nobleman. This 3-step plan turned Qin into an absolutely terrifyingly efficient war machine. All right, so Qin has this perfected war machine, and at the helm is the ambitious King Zheng. He finally decides it's time to unleash it. And the results? They were just devastatingly quick. Okay, check this out. What's absolutely wild here is the speed of the conquest. Just look at these dates. After centuries of back-and-forth stalemate, Qin just steamrolls everyone in a single decade. They just tick off their rivals one by one. First the weakest, Han. Then they toppled giants like Chu. And by 221 BCE, the very last state, Qi, just surrenders without even putting up a fight. Just like that, the war was over. But winning the war, that was only half the battle. King Zheng now had an even bigger problem on his hands. How do you hold this huge, war-torn territory together? How do you turn people who were your bitter enemies just yesterday into loyal subjects? His first move was symbolic, but it was a big one. He ditched his old title, king. King was what all the other guys he just conquered called themselves. No, he declared himself Qin Shi Huang, the first emperor. This wasn't just a name change. This was him saying, everything that came before is over. This is day 1 of a whole new era, one that's going to last forever. And this really shows you how he thought about unification. This wasn't about winning hearts and minds. Nope. It was all about radical, top-down control, standardization. Everybody, and I mean everybody, used the same coins, the same weights and measures. He even standardized the width of cart axles. Why? So every cart would fit perfectly in the ruts of his new imperial roads. And maybe most important of all, he standardized the writing script. That way, an order given in the capital could be read and understood at the farthest edge of the empire. He was literally trying to erase the old states from memory. The sheer scale of this transformation is just staggering. To physically tie his new empire together, the emperor ordered the construction of over 4,200 miles of new roads. Think about that. This was basically an ancient superhighway system built to move armies, officials, and supplies at a speed nobody had ever seen before. It was the glue holding the whole thing together. And this quote, which is attributed to him, really sums up his whole mindset. He wasn't just trying to rule for his lifetime. His goal was to build something permanent, an empire so powerful, so unified, that it would last for 10,000 generations, for millennia. And that right there brings us to the huge, complicated question of his legacy. On the one hand, he ended centuries of horrible warfare. He literally created the political and cultural foundation of what we now call China. But the other hand, he did it through unimaginable brutality, through the complete crushing of individual freedom. And that leaves us with the question historians still wrestle with today. Was it worth it? Was the creation of China worth the horrific price so many people were forced to pay?